Rain fell hard on the streets of the city. Cold wind rushed between the buildings. Most people stayed inside their warm homes. But one figure moved through the shadows. An alien woman, soaked, shaking, and holding a small cloth close to her chest. Inside the cloth was a hungry child, no older than 4. The woman looked left and right. Her skin was light purple and her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. She wore a torn brown cloak that barely covered her thin body. Her boots were falling apart. Her face showed pain, fear, and something deeper. Desperation. She stopped in front of a small local food shop. The lights were on and the owner stood behind the counter counting credits. Shelves were lined with bread, fruit, and hot meat pies. The smell made her stomach growl. The child under her cloak made a soft sound, a weak cry. "Shh," she whispered, kissing the child's forehead. Just a little longer. She waited for the shopkeeper to turn his back. Then, quick like a shadow, she slid inside. Her fingers trembled as she grabbed a loaf of bread and tucked it under her cloak. Then an apple. Then a small bag of cooked rice. "Hey!" shouted the shopkeeper suddenly. "What do you think you're doing?" She froze. People turned. 2 local guards across the street heard the shouting and started walking over. The woman panicked. She ran toward the door, but the shopkeeper grabbed her arm. "You think you can steal from me, alien?" he yelled. The guards entered, and so did a few nosy neighbors. Someone pulled back her hood. Everyone gasped at her alien face and the child in her arms. "She has a baby," someone said. "Disgusting," another muttered. "They come here to steal, always." The child started crying, loud. The woman dropped to her knees and begged, "Please, I didn't want to steal. He hasn't eaten in 2 days. Please, I'll return it, I swear." "Call the enforcers," said the guard. "No, please don't. Take my child." The crowd grew louder. Some filmed the scene with their phones. The shopkeeper looked proud. The guards reached for cuffs. But then, someone stepped forward. A man. Human. Tall. He wore a dark jacket, simple clothes, and calm eyes. He looked at the guards, then at the shopkeeper, and finally at the woman and her crying child. "How much was the food?" the man asked quietly. "What?" The shopkeeper blinked. "I said," the man repeated, "how much does the food cost?" 10 credits, but the man pulled out a small credit chip and placed it on the counter. "Here, paid in full, now let her go." "She's a thief," the shopkeeper snapped. "No. She's a mother." The shopkeeper frowned. The guards hesitated. The crowd grew quiet. The man knelt down next to the alien woman. He looked her in the eyes. She looked away, ashamed. "You don't have to be scared now," he said gently. "Let's get you out of the cold." She didn't reply, but she didn't resist as he helped her stand. The child looked up at him with big, tired eyes. His little mouth tried to smile. The man turned to the guards. "Is the law now punishing starving babies?" The guards stepped back. "You're responsible for them now, human," one said. "Don't let her steal again." The man nodded. "She won't." The alien woman could hardly believe it. No one had ever helped her like this. Her legs felt weak. Her heart beat fast. "Why?" she whispered as they stepped into the rain. He opened his umbrella and held it over her and the child. "Because I know what it's like to be hungry and alone." They walked together down the quiet street. The city lights reflected off the wet road. The alien mother looked back once and saw the shopkeeper still staring, angry and confused. "Where are we going?" she asked softly. "Somewhere warm," the man replied. "Somewhere safe." She held her child tighter and followed. In that moment, for the first time in a long time, she didn't feel invisible. The alien mother sat on the edge of a small couch, holding her sleeping child close. His head rested against her chest, his tiny hands gripping her torn cloak. The warm room was silent except for the soft hum of a heater. She still couldn't believe she was here, dry, fed, and safe. The smell of hot soup and clean clothes filled the air. The human man, her unexpected rescuer, was in the kitchen. He didn't speak much. He had simply made tea, given her a towel, and told her, "Rest. You and your child are safe now. But safe? For how long? She kept glancing at the door, afraid it might burst open again. Guards, enforcers, bounty hunters. Her past always followed her, like a shadow that never faded. The man walked in quietly, carrying 2 mugs of warm tea. He offered one to her. She hesitated. Her hands were dirty. Her fingers shook. "It's okay," he said gently. "It's not poison. It's just tea." She took it slowly and held it close, feeling the warmth seep into her skin. After a moment, he sat across from her and spoke again. "What's your name?" She stayed quiet. "You don't have to tell me," he said. "But I'd like to know who I helped tonight." She looked down at her sleeping child, then back up at the human's calm eyes. "My name is Vera," she whispered. "And his name is Leo." The man nodded. "I'm Aaron." They sat in silence again. The heater clicked softly. "I didn't mean to steal," she said suddenly. Her voice was small, broken. "I didn't want to, but I had no choice." He was crying so much, his stomach hurt. "I tried everything, begging, cleaning streets, collecting trash. No one wanted to hire an alien widow with a child. No one even looked at me." Aaron didn't interrupt. "We came from the Orland sector. My husband worked in a mining colony. There was an accident. He didn't make it." Her voice cracked. "They told me to leave, said he wasn't worth anything dead, and neither was I. They gave me 1 bag of food and threw us out." Aaron's jaw clenched slightly. "And you came here?" "I walked. For days. Leo got sick. I carried him. We slept under old stations and metal scraps. I asked for help, but humans just looked away." She took a shaky breath. "Then tonight, I saw the shop. I waited until it got dark. I thought maybe I could get just 1 piece of bread. I never wanted trouble." Aaron leaned forward slightly. "You risked a lot. You could have been arrested." She looked at him with tired eyes. "I didn't care. If I died, fine. But not him. He's all I have." Aaron stared at her for a long time. Then he reached into his jacket and pulled out a folded paper. "I'm not just a guy with a warm room," he said. "I used to work with refugee aid units. I've seen things. Whole families crushed by systems that don't care, people like you." Vera's eyes widened. "Then, why help me? Why now?" He looked directly at her. "Because I know what it means to lose everything. I lost my own daughter 5 years ago in a supply riot. She was hungry, I was too slow." Silence filled the room again. "I couldn't save her," he said. "But maybe I can save someone else." Tears rolled down Vera's cheeks. She looked down at Leo's small face. His cheeks had color again. His breathing was peaceful. "I don't want charity," she whispered. "I just want to work, to live, to raise my son." Aaron stood and walked to a shelf, pulling down a small blanket. He gently placed it over the sleeping child. "Then you'll work," he said softly. "You can stay here. I know someone who runs a cleaning station. She doesn't ask many questions. I'll talk to her." Vera blinked, not sure if she heard him right. "You'd do that? For me?" "For both of you." She wanted to believe him. She wanted to trust. But trust had gotten people like her killed before. Still, for the first time in years, her heart felt something strange. Hope. "I don't know how to thank you," she whispered. Aaron gave a tired smile. "Then don't. Just get some sleep. Tomorrow we figure things out." As he turned off the light and stepped into the hallway, Vera pulled Leo closer. She kissed his forehead and whispered, "Maybe we found our place." But far away, beyond the safety of the walls, a shadowy figure watched from a rooftop with glowing red eyes. He tapped a communicator and spoke 2 words. "Target found." Vera woke up to the soft sound of a kettle whistling. For a moment she forgot where she was. No cold wind, No shaking from hunger, just warmth and silence. Then she felt a tiny hand squeeze her fingers. Leo, still sleeping beside her, his small face finally peaceful. She sat up slowly, the soft blanket sliding from her shoulders. Her eyes wandered around the unfamiliar room, a small but clean apartment with simple walls, one window and a heater humming gently, a couch, a table, a shelf with books, a safe place. Her hand moved to her chest. No chains, no threats, no curses. Was this still real? Aaron stepped in from the kitchen, holding a cup of tea and a plate with toast and fruit. He was wearing a simple gray shirt, sleeves rolled up, hair still wet from a quick shower. "You're up," he said kindly. "Thought you both might be hungry again." Vera stood slowly, feeling unsure. She looked at him, then the food. I don't know how to accept this," she whispered. Aaron placed the plate on the table and sat on the arm of the chair. "It's just breakfast, you don't owe me anything." She looked down. "People don't give breakfast to illegal aliens." Aaron shrugged. "People are wrong. I'm not most people." There was a pause. "You should stay here," he said, gently. She blinked. "What?" "This place has a second room. It used to belong to my daughter. I never changed it. It's clean, safe, quiet. You and Leo can sleep there." Vera took a small step back, her face suddenly tense. "Why would you let us stay? You don't even know me." "I know enough," he said calmly. "You're a mother, and your son needs a roof. That's enough." She looked unsure. "It's not right. You don't owe us anything. What if someone finds out?" Aaron leaned forward slightly. "Let them. You think I care what the neighbors say?" Her eyes filled with tears, but she tried to hide them. "I'm sorry," she said softly. I'm not used to kindness." Aaron stood up and walked to the kitchen again, giving her space. "You can think about it, but the offer stands. For as long as you need." Just then, Leo stirred, on the couch blinking his eyes open. "Mama," he mumbled. She rushed over and lifted him into her arms. I'm here, baby." Aaron leaned against the kitchen wall watching them. The boy looked up at him and smiled a little. Then he reached for a piece of fruit from the plate, his hunger still strong. "He's healing," Aaron said. "Food, sleep, safety. Kids bounce back fast." Vera nodded. But outside, beyond the peaceful room, a black van moved down the alley, slow and quiet. Inside sat two masked aliens with pale gray skin scanning a screen. "Signal's strong," one said. "She's close." Later that afternoon, Aaron showed Vera the spare room. The walls were pale blue. A small bed with soft blankets sat in the corner. A child's drawing of stars and moons was still stuck on the wall. Vera placed Leo down and let him rest. "This was your daughter's room?" she asked carefully. He nodded. "Yeah. She loved drawing space. Said she wanted to fly one day. But life had other plans." Vera placed a hand on the wall, feeling the soft dust. "She must have been kind." "She was," Aaron whispered. "Like you." Vera turned toward him, her voice shaking. "You don't know what I've done. You stole food to keep your child alive," he said. "That's not a crime, that's survival." Tears rolled down her cheeks again. She quickly wiped them away. "I'll clean, I'll cook. I'll earn this stay," she said. Aaron gave a soft smile. "We'll figure it out together." Just as Vera was about to speak, there was a sudden knock on the door. Aaron's body stiffened. Knock, knock. He stepped toward the door and looked through the peephole. Two strangers, tall, pale-skinned, not neighbors. Not friendly. Vera's heart dropped. She grabbed Leo and whispered, "Stay quiet." Aaron opened the door slightly. "Can I help you?" he asked. One of the pale aliens showed a badge. "Local enforcement unit. We're searching for a fugitive, alien female and a young child. Dangerous, violent." Aaron raised an eyebrow. That doesn't sound like anyone I know. We traced activity to this building. May we enter? Aaron stepped out and closed the door behind him. You got a warrant? The alien narrowed his eyes. We can come back with one. Aaron gave a cold smile. Then do that. Until then, you're not stepping inside. As the aliens walked away, Aaron stood firm. Inside, Vera trembled. Outside, the danger had just begun. That night, the wind howled against the windows. Streetlights flickered outside. Inside the small apartment, Vera sat in the dark, clutching her son as he slept in her lap. She hadn't spoken a word since the knock. Aaron paced the room slowly, his jaw tight. He had locked every door, checked the windows twice, and made sure no light leaked out. He didn't say much either. But the silence between them was loud, filled with worry, fear, and questions neither wanted to ask out loud. They're not done, Vera finally whispered. Aaron turned. I know. They'll come back. With others. With weapons. He nodded. I'll be ready. Vera looked up at him, eyes wide with disbelief. Why are you risking this for us? Aaron paused, then answered, because someone has to. There was a long silence. Then softly he asked, Do you know who they were? Vera nodded slowly. They work for a private collector. Rich, powerful. Buys alien bodies like property, labor, breeding, entertainment, whatever he wants. Aaron clenched his fists. That's illegal. It doesn't matter, she said. He owns everything on my world. And he wants Leo back, not because he cares, but because Leo is the last child from a rare bloodline. Aaron sat down beside her. He's your son. Yes, she said firmly. And I'll die before I let them take him. Suddenly the lights flickered. Both froze. A soft clicking sound echoed through the walls. Then the sharp crack of the front door lock being tested. Aaron stood up slowly and walked to a hidden panel on the wall. He slid it open, revealing a small, black case. What's that? Vera asked. Something I thought I'd never use again, he replied. He opened the case. Inside lay a compact plasma pistol, old but well-maintained. He grabbed it, checked the charge, and slid it into his belt. You were military? Vera asked quietly. Long ago. Leo stirred in her arms. She kissed his forehead, rocking him gently. He's never seen a weapon before. Aaron looked at her. I hope he never has to. Then, bang. The front door shook violently. A voice shouted from outside. Open the door, we have orders. Aaron stood still. They didn't bring a warrant, they brought force. He looked at Vera. Take Leo, go to the back room. There's a hatch under the bed. It leads to the old maintenance tunnels. What about you? She asked. I'll slow them down. No, she hissed. You'll be killed. Aaron looked her in the eyes. If they get past me, they'll take him, and I won't let that happen. Tears spilled from her eyes. You barely know us. Aaron touched her shoulder. I know enough. Crack. The door splintered. Vera. Aaron. She carried Leo through the hallway and pushed the bed aside. Beneath it, just like Aaron said, was a hatch. She opened it with shaking hands and climbed down into the darkness below. Upstairs, the door burst open. 2 masked enforcers stormed inside, weapons ready. Aaron stood in the center of the room, gun drawn. Where is the alien and the child? One barked. Aaron smiled faintly. Gone. The enforcer raised his blaster. Wrong answer. Aaron fired first. The shot hit one enforcer in the shoulder. He spun and fell. The second fired back. Aaron dove behind the couch. Energy bolts flew, burning holes in the walls. Smoke filled the room. In the tunnel below, Vera heard the chaos. She held Leo tightly, her eyes full of terror. Don't make a sound, she whispered. Please, just stay quiet. Back above, Aaron rolled, fired again, and hit the second enforcer's weapon. It sparked and exploded, but another shadow stepped through the smoke, a tall figure in black armor. The bounty leader. You're brave, human, the leader growled, but you're alone. Aaron wiped blood from his forehead. Not alone. Not useless. He threw a metal flash pellet. A burst of light blinded the armored figure. Aaron ran toward the hallway, but something hit him. Hard, he fell. The armored bounty hunter stood over him, raising a weapon. Then, crack, the ceiling above groaned smoke, heat. The fire from the damaged blasters had spread fast. Fire alarm activated, said a mechanical voice from the wall. The hunter cursed and stepped back. Aaron kicked his legs out, knocking him over. Then he crawled to the hallway, bleeding, limping, but still moving. He reached the tunnel hatch and slammed it shut behind him. Down in the tunnels, Vera cried out as the hatch opened. Aaron fell in, blood on his face. Leo gasped. "Mister." Aaron smiled weakly. "You're safe. That's what matters." Vera caught him before he collapsed completely. The fire raged above them. The old apartment, gone. Their shelter, burned. But in the dark tunnels, Vera held him, her voice shaking. "You didn't have to do this." Aaron coughed. "Yes, I did." She held his hand tightly, tears falling into the dirt. The tunnels were cold, damp, and smelled like old metal and oil. Pipes hissed above them, and small drops of water fell from cracks in the ceiling. Vera moved quickly, carrying Leo with one arm and helping Aaron walk with the other. His steps were slow, his side bled. But he didn't complain. He had lost his home. For them. "I know a way out," Aaron whispered. "There's an old service station, not far now." Vera said nothing. She was too busy fighting her tears. After half an hour, they reached a hidden room deep underground. It looked like an abandoned mechanic's workshop, tools, crates, and one old cot covered in dust. Aaron collapsed onto it, breathing hard. Vera dropped to her knees beside him. "You need help," she said. "I'll be okay." He murmured, "I've been through worse." But Vera knew that was a lie. Leo sat beside him holding his hand. "Are you gonna die?" Aaron smiled weakly. "Not if I can help it, kid." Vera turned away and wiped her eyes. She felt guilt deep in her chest. She never meant for any of this. All she wanted was to feed her child, not to drag a kind stranger into a war she couldn't escape. But Aaron had chosen this. He had chosen them. Now she had to do the same. She sat down beside him and took a deep breath. "You deserve the truth," she said. "The whole truth." Aaron looked at her through tired eyes. "I'm listening." Vera's hands shook. She had never said these words aloud, not even to herself. "I was born on Uraxa, a planet ruled by the syndicates. My people were once peaceful, skilled in healing and music. But then the war came. We lost. Our cities were burned, our leaders taken, the survivors were sold." Aaron stayed silent. "My family was torn apart. I was just 15 when they gave me to the breeding halls." Her voice trembled. "They called us stock, lined us up, sold us like items. I was given to a rich collector. He said I was pretty enough for higher-class buyers. I stayed in chains for 7 years." Aaron looked away, his hands tight. "I tried to end it once," Vera whispered. "But then, I learned I was pregnant." She looked down at Leo. "He saved me. My reason to live. When he was born, they said he had rare genes, something special. They planned to raise him as their own pet prize." Her voice hardened. "So I ran." "How?" Aaron asked softly. "A guard, one of their own. He took pity. He gave me a chance, opened a gate during a storm. He didn't make it." "I did," Aaron whispered. "You've been running ever since." Vera nodded. "Every world, every city, I begged for help. But no one cared. Some even tried to sell me back." Aaron sighed deeply. "You don't belong in chains. You belong in a home." She looked at him, eyes burning. "But we don't get homes, Aaron. Not people like me. We just get hunted." He reached up and touched her shoulder gently. "Then I'll build you one." Vera stared at him in disbelief. "Why would you keep helping me? I've only brought danger." He coughed, his voice weak but firm. Because the galaxy's full of people who walk away. I won't be one of them. She sat still for a long moment, then suddenly leaned forward and pressed her forehead to his. In her culture, that meant, trust. Then I will never run from you, she whispered. Outside, the city was still in chaos. Fires burned in the distance. The bounty hunters were searching, but the trail had gone cold. For now, inside the tunnel room, Vera prepared warm water and old medical supplies. She cleaned Aaron's wound carefully. Leo helped, handing her cloth and water. We need to move. Again soon, Aaron said. They'll scan these tunnels by morning. I'll go first, Vera said firmly. You rest. But Aaron shook his head. We stay together. Suddenly, his comm unit buzzed. He grabbed it weakly. A voice came through, female, sharp and familiar. Aaron, are you alive? He sat up slightly. Kara, the voice said. You idiot. I just saw the news. Your place is gone. What did you do this time? Aaron smirked. Rescued a mother and her son. The voice paused. Send me your location, it said. You're not dying without letting me meet them. He looked at Vera. We might have an ally. Vera blinked. Who is she? Aaron smiled. Old friend, smuggler, hates slavery. Vera breathed out slowly. For the first time, she believed, they had a chance. The next night they moved. Aaron's steps were still heavy, his side bandaged under his shirt, but his eyes stayed sharp. Vera walked beside him with quiet strength. Leo wrapped safely in her arms. They didn't speak much. There was no need. Each footstep in the tunnel echoed with urgency. Above them, the city was crawling with patrols. Drones scanned rooftops. Bounty hunters had doubled. Street broadcasts now showed Vera's face, her name marked dangerous runaway property. Aaron muttered under his breath. Disgusting. They call people property now. Vera clutched Leo tighter. That's all we've ever been. Until now. Their destination was clear. Sector 9 Freight Hub, an old loading dock now used by smugglers and refugees. That's where Kara would meet them. If we reach Kara, Aaron said, we vanish. New names, new lives. But if we don't, Vera started. We will, he said firmly. I promise. The last tunnel opened near a broken fence. They peeked out carefully. No one in sight. Aaron limped across first, signaling the way was clear. But as soon as Vera stepped out with Leo, red lights flashed above them. Movement detected. Identity scan in progress. No, no, run! Aaron shouted. A drone dived, firing stun rounds. Sparks flew as one shot hit the metal near Leo's head. Vera ran, arms around her son, breath loud in her ears. Aaron turned and shot the drone mid-air. It exploded in sparks, but it was too late. The sound had triggered a response. From both sides of the alley, black vans screeched to a stop. Armed figures jumped out, bounty hunters masked and ready. They found us, Vera cried. Split up, Aaron shouted. We meet at Dock 12. He fired again, providing cover as Vera slipped through a narrow path between buildings. Leo held on tight, eyes shut, whispering, Don't let them take me. A hunter chased them, fast and silent. Vera darted into a storage yard, weaving between old containers. She turned a corner and stopped. A wall. No way out. The hunter appeared, gun raised. Gimme the boy, he growled. Do it now, and I won't hurt you. Vera didn't move. Her eyes narrowed. You'll hurt him. Either way, the hunter smirked. You think that human can protect you? He's already dead. She didn't believe it. She couldn't believe it. Then I'll protect my son myself, she whispered. Just as the hunter stepped forward, a loud engine roared nearby. A giant cargo hauler crashed through the side fence, scattering metal and dust. The hunter turned too late. A woman jumped out of the vehicle, firing a shock blaster. The hunter fell with a grunt. Vera stared in shock. The woman walked over in a leather jacket and goggles, chewing a snack bar. You must be Vera, she said casually. I'm Kara. Nice to finally meet you. Vera's mouth dropped open. You came. Of course, Kara grinned. Aaron owes me 3 favors. Saving your lives makes it 4. Vera's eyes widened. Where is he? Kara looked serious now. Dock 12, but it's crawling with hunters. He's buying you time. Vera's voice shook. Then we're wasting it. Let's go. At Dock 12, Aaron stood alone in the shadows. Blood dripped from his side again. He had run out of energy, but not out of courage. One hunter approached him. Give up the aliens, Aaron chuckled. You think I'm just stalling? You really don't know me? The hunter raised his blaster. Last chance, human. Suddenly, the cargo hauler burst into the dockyard. Kara swerved it in with style, the doors flinging open. Vera jumped out holding Leo. She ran to Aaron's side. Come on, she cried. Aaron fell into her arms. She helped him climb in as Kara laid down cover fire. The hauler roared to life, smashing through crates and gates. Behind them, hunters shouted, fired, and screamed. But it was too late. They were gone. Hours later, the hauler sped across an empty desert road outside the city. Inside, Aaron lay in the back, his head resting on Vera's lap. Leo sat beside them, wide-eyed but safe. Kara drove, with one hand the other tuning a small radio. I have contacts, she said. They'll give you fake IDs, a new place. Quiet, peaceful. No one will find you. Aaron coughed weakly. You're an angel. I'm a criminal, she smirked. But thank you. Vera looked down at Aaron. You almost died today, she said, voice low. I'd do it again, he whispered. For him, for you. Vera touched his face. You gave me more than food, more than safety. You gave me something I thought I lost forever. What's that? He asked. A future. Leo crawled into Aaron's arms and laid his head on his chest. You're my dad now. Aaron's heart ached, but it felt full. And as the sun began to rise over the endless land ahead, so did something new. Hope. 1 month later. The desert winds no longer howled with danger. In a small farming village under twin suns, far from the city, far from bounty hunters, and far from pain, a new life had quietly begun. The house was small, just 3 rooms, built from clay and wood, with vines slowly crawling up the sides. But to Vera, it felt like a castle. Her new home didn't have golden walls or tall towers, but it had something greater. Safety. She stood in the kitchen, humming softly as she peeled fruit with a small curved knife. Her skin looked healthier, her eyes were calmer, her steps stronger. She wore a plain dress, hand-sewn by the local clothmaker. She no longer flinched at shadows, no longer slept with one eye open. And outside, Leo laughed. He ran barefoot across the garden, chasing a glowing insect. His giggles filled the air like music. For the first time in his young life, he was free to just be a child. Aaron sat nearby under a tree, his arm still wrapped but healing fast. But he smiled at Leo, then leaned back and let the sun warm his face. Kara sat beside him on a rock, sipping cool water from a jar. Hard to believe this was your life a few weeks ago, she said, watching the boy run. Aaron chuckled. Feels like years. You're lucky I still like you, Kara smirked. Hiding fugitives isn't exactly a relaxing favor. Aaron nodded. You saved us. Kara glanced at Vera through the window. She's stronger than she looks. She always was, Aaron replied. Kara stood, brushing dust from her pants. I'll be back in a few weeks with the final paperwork. New identities, new histories. By then, no one will be looking. Thank you, Kara, she smiled. Keep them safe, old man. I will. That night, the 3 of them sat around a simple dinner table. Vera placed plates in front of them. She had cooked her people's stew, sweet, warm, filled with herbs Aaron had never tasted before. They ate quietly at first. Just being together was enough. Then Leo asked, Do I get a new name too? Vera looked at him gently. Do you want one? The boy thought for a moment, then shook his head. No, I like my name, but can I have a last name? Aaron raised an eyebrow. What last name do you want? Leo smiled, his eyes wide. Yours. Vera's eyes filled with tears. but she said nothing. Aaron looked at the boy for a long moment. Then he reached across the table and held Vera's hand. "I'd be honored," he said softly. The candles flickered in the gentle breeze. Outside, stars blinked above the hills. The nightmare they had escaped was now just a memory. Later that night, Vera sat outside alone. The desert was quiet. She looked up at the stars. Her people believed the stars were the eyes of the ancestors, always watching. "I never thought I'd survive," she whispered. "But someone gave me a reason." She heard footsteps behind her. Aaron. He handed her a blanket and sat beside her on the bench. "I saw you looking at the stars again," he said. "They make me feel like maybe I'm not alone." "You're not." There was a pause. Then Aaron asked, "Do you ever miss your world?" She nodded slowly. "Every day. But I don't want to go back, not anymore. I want to build something new." He smiled. "Then, let's build it together." She turned to him. "You mean that?" "I do." She placed her head gently on his shoulder. Leo peeked from the window and smiled, watching them. The next morning, 3 names appeared on the village registry. Aaron Hale, farmer and teacher. Vera Hale, herbalist and cook. Leo Hale, student. Age 5. No one asked questions. No one cared about the past. Only the future mattered now. And in this quiet corner of the galaxy, 1 human and 2 aliens, once hunted, hurt, and lost, had found something the stars themselves couldn't give them: a family.